This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and together we are your KTAR car guys, heard every Saturday from 11 to noon. At Bumper to Bumper Radio, we're helping you, yes, that's you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. So if you got car questions, we've got car answers, and we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And if you're shy, you can text us at 411-923. And before I would tell you what's on the Bumper to Bumper roadmap, it was so good to hear Rosie's voice on the radio and to see him here in the studio. It's a big deal.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
Welcome back, Rosie.
For sure. Today on the Bumper to Bumper roadmap, of course, we're taking your phone calls and your text and helping you with anything in relation to your car. But, the almighty tune-up, Matt, what is the almighty tune-up about? I remember when I was a kid working in a shop and people came in and every shop had a sign that said tune-ups, X amount of dollars.
Remember, it was a 49, 59, and 69.
Yeah. 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder.
Yeah, and if it was a transverse engine, it was $20 more or something silly like that. But, that's what when I was a technician, I'm still a master tech, but when I was a technician, I always did tune-ups. I was the guy that did, I was into the computer stuff and the diagnostics and what now we call drivability, the way the car drives. It's funny, Dave, you say, I just laughed when you said, let's talk about tune-ups today. I said, well, what the hell is a tune-up?
The almighty tune-up. Yeah, what is a tune-up anymore?
Yeah, but I had a lady call me the other day, and she calls and says, hey, I'd like to get in for a tune-up. And I said, okay, what do you mean tune-up? Because usually when someone calls requesting a tune-up, there's something that they're trying to correct. There's a problem with a car. You really need to know a tune-up is maintenance. And I said, well, what do you mean tune-up? She goes, well, oil change, the stuff you do with a tune-up. I said, well, those are two different things, but what's going on here? I just need a tune-up. I said, well, I need you to, what's going on with the car? Click. She hangs up on me.
It was actually me mystery calling Matt.
Right?
Can I get a
tune-up? But you're right. I mean, you said it before the show, Dave. Well, I mean, I'll tell you what a tune-up used to be, and then, Dave, you can talk about what a tune-up is now, what you might classify a tune-up. But tuning is just doing that. You have your piano that you get tuned. Maybe you tune your guitar or whatever you have. It's fine-tuning. It's making it work just right is what a tune-up is. Mm-hmm. But back in the, back forever to cars up until electronic ignition, we had to tune. We had to turn the carburetor screws. We had to adjust the float.
There was a lot of screws on the carburetor.
Set the timing. And then you would replace the spark plugs, and you just make it all run good. That kind of encompasses that tune-up. Is just all that stuff equals a tune-up. Well, now the modern car,
49 for a 4-cylinder, 59 for a 6-cylinder, and 79 for a V8.
Oh God, I got stories about the tune-ups too. I mean, but now the modern car, and even the 15-year-old car for that matter.
So we could define tune-up as adjusting.
Yes,
and replacing some pieces.
Some parts designed to wear. But now in a modern car, and like I said, even a 15-year-old car, the car is constantly tuning. So now it's down to what, Dave? Cleaning and replacing.
Cleaning, yeah. It's got a lot of sensors that tell the computer how it's running, and as the computer sees, hey, we don't like that. A little tweak here, a little tweak there. We can speed up the injector pulse. We can slow it down. We can move the timing this way. We can move the timing that way. It adjusts as the car wears, as the car gets built up, and that's where the cleaning piece comes in. Mm-hmm. Those adjustments and adjusters get dirty. I think of the throttle body, how it gets gummed up, and, you got an idle air motor, things like that in there. Mm-hmm. That stuff gets dirty, needs to be cleaned. You get carbon in the engine, where the engine, it's degrading as it wears and gets gummed up, and the computer is compensating for it. So we got to go in and clean up some of that dirt.
Computer's like a pain pill, I guess. Starts to hurt a little bit, the computer just feeds it
a
little bit of pain pill, and you can't feel it. So you might say to yourself, well, gosh, why do I need this? My car runs good. Well, it's because it's been doing its job.
Right.
It's compensating for those deficiencies and that carbon buildup and all those things. The computer's made up for it. You just don't know it. But pretty soon that computer reaches the end of its rope, so to speak, or the window that it can make its adjustments.
The engine gets to its service limits where no longer can the computer clean that up.
Yes.
And it needs care or maintenance.
Not clean it up, but compensate for it.
Well, it runs out of compensation.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the tune-up has changed, and that is still the phone call that you get every now and then. My car needs a tune-up. So we want to change the way you communicate with the shop. We want to help you in this department. What is a tune-up on your car? You know, now there's a lot of 30,000-mile service, 60,000-mile service, 90,000-mile service. There's service points. But when you have a car that all of a sudden just you start it up, or it takes a long time to start, or it's not running so smooth, it's just not its old self. Maybe it's sluggish. Maybe the gas mileage is terrible. Maybe the check engine light is on. You actually have a problem because the tuning is working. It's just something has failed, and now it can't tune it anymore. So we got to get in the shop and get a problem diagnosed, and then from there we get something fixed or something replaced or something cleaned to take care of a runnability or drivability
So
problem.
let's talk about some of those things that we would do in a, quote, tune-up. You still have to replace spark plugs. Now,
Not as often. In the old days, it was every 12,000
every
miles.
12,000, and then the
Now it's
Hondas, it was every 30,000. So that's kind of where your 30,000-mile service came in. You replace the plugs, maybe put a fuel filter. Car doesn't even have a fuel filter anymore.
Gone.
I mean, it's
Thing of the past.
It's in the gas tank, and you have one.
It's
but
not a serviceable type.
Exactly. And now we've got spark plugs lasting 100,000 miles or 120,000 miles.
Yeah, you just multiply 12,000 times 10. I mean, that's considerable. That's a long time that spark plug is in there.
But they ought to be when they're all cost $35 a piece or
they're not giving them away.
$29. So we still have to replace spark plugs. But that so that would be the first category of tune-up would be replacing spark plugs. But well before your spark plugs need to be replaced, there's, quote, stuff that falls under that category of tune-up. And some of the things I can think of, if you're driving around in an Audi or a Ford EcoBoost, with anything with direct fuel injection, you're going to have carbon buildup issues.
Yep. Got to get a scrub brush.
Yeah. A chemical scrub. It's like for all you ladies out there to get your face peels and your facials and get all that stuff. And
Are you calling me a lady? Because I do that all the time.
Yeah, right. Well, you should try the waxing and get some of that stuff removed, David. Maybe
I know.
you'll slide a little smoother through the air on your bicycle.
Keeps me warm in the winter. It's cold.
So carbon cleaning, throttle body cleaning, removing
injection
that.
service.
Yeah, cleaning fuel injectors, making sure the car has a good clean air filter. Some of those items.
Well, you said, we talked about running rough. And you said there's some things that are, people say, hey, my car is running rough. I need a tune-up. So they bring it in, and the car is running perfectly fine, but they have a broken engine mount. Well, your car is actually not running rough. You have a broken engine mount. And the engine mount is what keeps it from, feeling the rough. It's already there anyway.
It's going to vibrate. It's got harmonic vibrations. The car's running. It's a machine. And those mounts are there to dampen. So, of course, that roughness translates through, and you think it's rough.
So, but if I'm communicating to the shop and I call up and I've got a problem, I don't call and say, hey, I need a tune-up. Because I'm not even quite sure what that is, but I'm telling them, hey, you need to tune up my car. And so I'm saying, give them the symptoms,
yes,
and they'll digest the symptoms and then prescribe what the next step needs to be, as opposed to you saying, I need a tune-up. Because it's funny when people come in and they ask for something, hey, put new shocks on my car. So bring it in, give them a price, put new shocks on the car, and then you go drive and you're like, wow, this thing's got a lot of weird noises in it. Well, hey, we got your shocks in, but there's a lot of weird noise. Well, that's why I was having the shocks done. Oh, we didn't know that. We just thought you wanted new shocks. You have a noise that we need to look into. You need a sway bar link. Totally different. And it's a whole lot cheaper than those shocks we just put on the car.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so and you shouldn't be afraid of diagnosis. That's the best money spent.
Yes.
In a lot of cases.
In a lot of cases.
And I mean, we'll look at a car. We're going to pull it in because it's not running right. I mean, obviously, if there's a check engine light or something, those are, well, I was going to say easier to diagnose, but not necessarily.
A lot of times, my wife's car, it's brand new pretty much. It's got a check engine light on, and I'm too lazy to get it over to the dealership. But I know what it is. I open the hood, and I'm like, well, there's a vent tube right there, and the plastic is cracked because all these tubes are plastic now. That's all it is. And really the computer's compensating it out, so it doesn't really pick it up, but the check engine light's on because it knows there's a problem.
Yeah,
and it's got to be fixed, but there's something that's physically broken, but the computer keeps that car running.
Yeah. And my point is, too, though, don't be afraid of the diagnosis. you could go in and spend money having components replaced or tuning or whatever you think might be the problem. Or you get people that are, there's shops that don't want to charge diagnosis, and then they just do shotgun repairs. If your car came to my shop and it was running poorly, and I did a code check and I looked at it and I realized that the spark plugs are 15,000 miles past due and there's some carbon buildup, that's when I'm probably going to call you and say, we've done your inspection. We don't really need to do any diagnosis. Yeah. We need to get caught up on the maintenance first, and maybe we're going to save you some money. We can replace those spark plugs. You don't really want to go start diagnosing things when you've already got known deficiencies.
Yeah, known problems.
So you've got to make sure your maintenance is correct.
For sure. When we come back, we've got open lines at 602-277-5827, 602-277 KTAR. We've got Ken, we've got Randall, we've got Kit. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR Car Guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio. Matt and I share car repair tips weekly to help you keep your car safely on the road, and a few of them are easy to do.
Yep, you're right, Dave. And one of the easiest is to have a dependable battery that you can trust to get you started no matter what the conditions.
Interstate batteries are what we trust at Bumper to Bumper Radio. In fact, they're what we use at our own shops for our customers.
If you're like most people, your car is one of your most valuable investments. Make sure you take care of that investment with the power necessary to get you where you need to be. Interstate batteries are America's #1 replacement brand with the factory fresh guarantee, and they're easy to find at good shops everywhere.
Cars or trucks, Interstate has you covered with long life and performance in our harsh desert climates with products like Megatron Plus. It carries a 30-month free replacement and a 6-year performance guarantee.
Interstate batteries. No battery lasts longer. Check them out at interstatebatteries.com.
Honesty and integrity. It's the only option. Hi, Spencer Doucet for H&I Automotive. H is for honesty, and I is for integrity. We built our business on these two principles. We opened our first shop in Mesa in 2009, and with the support from our loyal customers, we've now grown to a second state-of-the-art location in Gilbert. 2 locations, same principles. Quality service at a great value, backed by an industry-leading 60-month, 60,000-mile parts and labor warranty. Check us out at HNIautomotive.com.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
That's our closing line, Pops.
I know, Jeff. Just reinforcing that we're full-service auto repair.
At Kurt's Auto Repair, we do it all, including diesel. We have the passion, training, equipment, and expertise for diesel. Our techs are ASE certified for diesel and advanced diesel diagnostics. Toy hauling, horse trailering, off-roading, or work trucking, we've got you covered.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's. Check us out at mycarhurts.com.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen. This guy, Dave Riccio, over at the other microphone. And as always, every single Saturday, we together are your KTAR car guys, helping you with that machine that your butt may be currently planted in behind the wheel driving down the road, or maybe you're just doing some chores around the house and you remembered, oh, my car did this funny thing, or oh, I need to get that oil change, or you know what, maybe you're out shopping for a car today. You know, you're kicking tires, you're at the used car lot, maybe you're at the new car lot, not really sure what to think. That salesman, boy, he's slick. Any questions about that? We can, whatever it is about your car, we're here to help you with that. Put you in your comfort zone. And a little bit earlier we started talking about tune-ups, what they are, Dave. What's a tune-up, and when are you supposed to get one? And if you miss that, you can always catch the shows at bumpertobumperradio.com. There's a podcast link there, and all the shows are listed. You can search by topic and a bunch of stuff. So there they are, and here we are. And so if you got any questions, problems with your car, we can help you with that. 602-277-5827 is 602-277-KTAR. And if you like to text, you can do that at 411-923. And I bet, Dave, we need to get after it a little bit, huh?
We do. We got Jared, Kit, Randall, and we're going to go with Ken in Mesa. He's got a 2007 Pontiac Solstice. How can we help you, Ken? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, thanks, guys. Okay, I bought the car, I want to say 4 years ago. Check engine light was on, and it was oxygen sensors. So I replaced those, drove it put a lot of miles on it. It's got about 140,000 miles on it now. And it was running really rough, hard starting. Once I got it started and got on the road, it was fine. Now, here's my problem. I had a mechanic come out and look at it, and he said that basically I have very low compression in cylinders 1 and 2.
Okay. How did you test compression?
Yes. Now, my question is, am I better off taking it to the shop, having them try to work with the motor I have, buy a new rebuilt motor, or take the chance and buy one a used one because they were also put in the cobalts?
Dave and I are going to fight about what we got to ask some more questions. There's a lot more to dig into here.
Yeah, I think the motor needs more diagnostic work to decide, hey, are we working on this motor? Is it in the valve train, something in the head, something going on there? Or, why do we have two misfires in these two cylinders, blown head gasket, possibly?
Ken, did you have so you had a mobile mechanic come out?
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Well, maybe not. So he did a compression test. So is the check engine light currently on?
Yes, the check engine light now is on, and it says that the coil pack in cylinder 2 is not working right.
No.
And so I replaced that.
That's not what it says. It says that there's a code so you had a P302 maybe?
Correct.
Okay.
Misfire code, not a coil pack code.
Yeah, so there's no code that tells you that you have a bad part in your car. P302 means that the engine has a misfire on that cylinder. So, he did a compression test, and that's fine and that's good, but that's just the first part of it. Now what we need to do is a leak down test, and that's what we're going to put that car on, that cylinder and the neighboring cylinder for sure, on top dead center. We're going to pressurize that cylinder with 100 pounds of shop air. And then depending on what leaks out of it, that's our percentage of leakage. You're going to have 3, 4, 5% go past the piston rings. The next step is, where is it going? If it's any more than that, it's going to go past the rings. Maybe you've got a burnt valve. It's going to be coming out the intake. We can feel the air coming out the intake. We take a rubber glove and put it over the muffler, over the tailpipe. The thing starts blowing up and looks like the doughboy's hand. Now you've got something coming out. Maybe like you said, Dave, a blown head gasket maybe. So I think you're jumping the gun if you go to replace the engine right now. We've had cars with low engine from carbon buildup on the rings and hang up the rings. Some of these, quote, snake oils actually work. So I think we need to dig deeper. Do you want to dig in? What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I think definitely dig deeper, find out what's really going on with the motor, more diagnostic steps. And a lot of, you said shop air, and I thought, the mobile guy, it's going to be a little hard. He can probably set it up in the driveway, but a lot of that stuff's easier to diagnose in a shop, honestly. I mean, with tools, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and you're in Mesa, H&I Automotive would be a great shop for that. And then when it gets down to, maybe you really do need the engine, I would see no harm in going and buying a used engine that properly fits that car with low mileage on it. Yeah, it was in the Cobalt and some other cars, and they can easily be readapted. Some of them had some different mounts, and that's no big deal. But let's find out why. We need to do an autopsy first. Well, we need to make sure it's dead. We don't want to start cutting it open for an autopsy. So.
For sure. Thanks for the call, Ken. 602-277-5827. We're going to go with Randall in Phoenix. He's got a 2010 Nissan Altima. How can we help you, Randall? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, thanks, guys. Much appreciated. I've got a daughter who's 21 going to college. She's looking for a car. She's come across a 2010. It's the 3.5 SR Coupe, 64,000 miles on it. Appears to be a cream puff. My questions to you guys is, where does a guy take the car to get it inspected?
Well, where does your daughter live?
She lives in Tempe.
Tempe. If you're car shopping, you can go around to Craigslist. You can go around to all these places. But she's right there in Tempe. She's had to see that funky-looking thing, that vending machine with all the cars on it.
Yep.
So to answer your first question, where do you take it to get inspected? You need to find a good mechanic or a good repair shop, and you can find those at bumpertobumperradio.com. She's going to college in Tempe. Tri-City Transmission. Dave's shop is right there. Tri-City Transmission and auto repair right by the college. They do a lot of work for students and stuff. But I tell you what, if you go to the Carvana website, That is the coolest thing I've seen. You can go there. You can look at the cars. You can look at the cars with her. You don't even have to be in the same state. I'm assuming you're here.
Yes.
But you can look at those cars. The beauty of them is you can buy one, and you can return it in 7 days if you don't like it. No questions asked. I mean, it's the coolest thing since sliced bread. It really is. And they've already checked it out, and then you can have some time to go. Then you go get your own secondary checkout. The cars come with great warranties. There's so many positives of this Carvana phenomenon, maybe we'll call it. It's really, really a neat buying process.
Cool. And if you are looking at this Nissan and you are going to have it checked out, it's not like a drive. Generally somebody brings me a car and they want to check out. I'll take it for a drive with them, and I'll just kind of get some gut feel off the car. I'll check a couple quick things, and then I know. Sometimes I have a car come in and I look at it and I go, it may be low mileage. I'm like, no, don't buy this car. I don't even have to pull it in the bay and charge you money to do that. Right. So sometimes I take it for a spin. I'm like, hey, is this a car we want to date a little further? Do we want to go a second date on this thing? And if you're serious about it, let's put it in the air. Let's do a paid inspection. So we're actually looking at everything, making sure there's nothing hiding out in the car, and it's a good buy.
I think you should expect to spend about $100 on it. That's what we charge at my shop, and we do a full inspection, and we're going to give you a report, and that can also be at times be used as a negotiation tool, or just say, whoa, I'm bailing out of this sucker now. I don't know how other guys do it. We do the first one for you. If you don't buy it, we do the second one for free. We want you to buy a good car.
And this is the other thing that happens to me all the time, is I got these friends of mine that come to me and go, hey, we just bought this great car. Got a good deal on it, What do you think, And you get you kind of, it's like a newborn baby. Sometimes they look strange. And they go, isn't it cute? And you go, uh-huh, And so you get these friends, they buy these cars, and they bring it to you. And I'm like, couldn't you have brought it to me just like 2 days before you bought the car? I appreciate that you bought a car that needs a lot of work. They got to spend with me. I get that. I appreciate that. But I really don't want you to have to go through all that. So anyway, when we come back, we're taking more phone calls at 602-277-5827. We've got Chandra, Kit, Jared, and Tom. And we're taking your text at 411-923. You're listening to Matt and Davey, your KTAR Car Guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Loved my 07 Chevy Avalanche. With low miles and good maintenance, it looked brand new. Unfortunately, my baby was struck recently and suffered some damage. I was devastated. I was not looking forward to the hassle of dealing with the body shop and the insurance company. Thankfully, a friend shared an amazing experience he had with Campus Auto Body Salon and their owner, Leo Petrozella. So I went online and checked them out for myself. Been in business since 1973, incredible 5-star customer reviews, not only on their site, but with all the independent review services as well. So I made an appointment. After meeting Leo, my tension evaporated. He quickly gave me a reasonable estimate, then took care of everything from communicating with the insurance company to handling the rental car. Best part, several days later, I had my Avalanche back, and it literally looked and drove like brand new. The process was seamless. I'm Mike, a real customer and a raving fan. Make your first call the right call to Campus Auto Body Salon.
Trust. They say it takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. It doesn't come easy, and you have to earn it every day to stay in business, right? Hi, Dave Riccio from Tri-City Transmission and co-host of Bumper to Bumper Radio. As Arizona's oldest and most trusted transmission shop, we are determined to keep building on a reputation that we've worked hard to earn by doing the right thing every time for our customers. Yes, honesty is our policy, but we go a step further and back it up with experience and the expertise to be able to give you comfort to know that if you are going to have to spend money on a transmission, that A, you actually need it, and B, that it's done by the most qualified experts at a fair price. I guarantee it. Tri-City Transmission, handcrafted since 1972. Go where friends trust to send their friends. Check us out online at tricitytransmission.com. That's tricitytransmission.com. tricitytransmission.com.
Arizona's news station. KTAR, on air, 92.3 FM, online at KTAR.com, and streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic, now.
KTAR News Time is 11:30. I'm Nailea Leon. slow down if you are driving down the eastbound lanes of the Loop 101 between I-17 and 7th Street this weekend. ADOT's Doug Ninsel says the speed limit will be reduced to 55 miles an hour for construction work.
There will also be times, including when the freeway needs to be closed, when drivers will detour on local streets, and that includes Bell Road.
He says crews will be placing barriers and lane strip adjustments for the widening project on the Loop 101. The lanes will reopen Monday morning. And the Nogales City Council passed a measure unanimously Wednesday condemning the use of razor wire on the border wall and threatened to sue the federal government if they don't remove the wire. Arizona Democratic Congressman Raul Grijalva told Homeland Security and Department of Defense the wire needs to be removed and is being used as a photo opportunity by the president that is nothing short of ridiculous. Now let's check in with traffic. Here's Mike Daniels in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
We've got a crash reported Loop 303 southbound right there at Bethany Home Road. And we got that wreck off right, I-17 northbound at Pinnacle Peak Road. This report brought to you by the Joint Chiropractic. If you're in pain right now, relief is just around the corner. With 30 Valley locations, there's a Joint Chiropractic near you. No appointments, no insurance, no hassles. The Joint Chiropractic. I'm Mike Daniels, KTAR News.
We have clear skies today, a bit cloudy as well in the mid-60s. Our overnight low is in the 40 degrees. Right now it's 44 degrees in Avondale. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air. I'm Nailea Leon on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Listen live or listen when you want to. Stream KTAR News live or get podcasts on demand. Subscribe to podcasts from Arizona's Morning News. Bruce St. James and Pamela Hughes, Mac and Gatos, Chad Benson, and have them delivered directly to your phone so you can catch up on what's happening whenever you have time to listen. Live streaming audio on the KTAR News app is presented by Sanderson Ford.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20+ years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
Hi, Kevin Rowe from I-17 Collision in Phoenix. If the bad news is you've had an accident, the good news is that with one easy click on bumpertobumperradio.com, you have the best collision, body, and paint shops to help you get back on the road quickly, safely, and with a repair you can trust.
Dave Lindgren here from First Class Auto Body in Scottsdale. Don't be fooled. Some insurance companies try to convince you that you must use their approved shops for your repairs. Not true. Arizona law allows you to choose the facility that's right for you.
And I'm Leo Petrozzella from Campus Body Salon in Tempe. Having an accident is stressful enough. Dealing with the repair process shouldn't be. Appearance is important, but it's critical that structural integrity and safety are top priority.
3 convenient locations and one united team. With almost 120 years of experience and expertise between us, we are solely focused on taking care of you while working with your insurance company. The Collision Team at bumpertobumperradio.com.
Hi, I'm Matt Allen.
And I'm Dave Riccio. We're the KTAR Car Guys. For the best advice for your car or truck, join Matt and I on Bumper to Bumper Radio every Saturday morning at 11 on KTAR News 92.3.
Experience counts. We've been working on cars and trucks here in the Valley of the Sun for decades.
So bring us your car troubles, and we'll do our best to solve them. Drive in anxious and cruise out feeling fine.
And remember, 24/7, bumpertobumperradio.com. It's a must for the best car and body shops you can trust.
Few cities are as car-centric as Phoenix, and this is the show that'll help you to better understand that machine you depend on to get around the valley. It's Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and the KTAR app for Android and iPhone.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I'm David Riccio, here along with Matt Allen.
You went to Italy one time,
I know,
all of a sudden you got an accent.
Yeah, that's right.
Carpetbagger.
And we're here helping you with your car. If you're not a regular listener and maybe tuning in for the first time, you're saying, hey, this Bumper to Bumper Radio, what the heck is this? This is a show designed to help put you in the know, to relieve the stress and anxiety and bad information surrounding auto repair, buying used cars. It could be anything related to your car. So we're going to kind of give you some of the industry expectations and parameters and, how much is it going to cost you to take care of the car, stuff like that. So that's this show. This show has a website called Bumper to Bumper Radio, bumperradio.com, which is a website, and that website has listings of shops across the valley that Matt and I would carte blanche refer you over to. Go over see these guys. If you're in that part of town and you're looking for a shop, you're going to find yourself a good home there. It's a great resource. You can find the old shows on bumperradio.com. There's all kinds of things there that we put together for you for sure. And the shops that are on there, there's a lot of shops. A couple that I just want to put a little mention into is Automotive Diagnostic Specialties.
Dave got it right.
Yes. I always say it wrong. It's just ADS is what I know it by, but I want to spell it out for you. Long form. But they're in Chandler, and it's a fantastic facility out there. These guys can work on your sand rail at the same time they can fix your minivan. They can soup up your Corvette. They do all kinds of stuff over there. Everything from the grocery getter to the monster sand rail.
And it doesn't matter if it's that late model CLK Mercedes or the BMW or, like you said, the Corvette or the grocery getter.
And Greg LaFonsi owns the place, and he's surrounded himself with the best crew, knowledgeable people. And one of the things that's funny about our industry is some people that are in it don't know what they don't know, but then there's some people in it that really know what they know, and ADS is one of those shops that you could really feel safe at. The other one I'd recommend to you over in the West Valley is Dave Denman at it used to be Dave's Tire Corral back in the day. It's still in the back of my mind.
Dave's Car Care.
Dave's Car Care at 51st Avenue in Peoria. Another great facility. He's got all the latest and greatest tools. He's a fantastic dealership alternative, but even beyond that, he does things that you're not going to get.
There will never be moss growing under Dave's feet. That guy does not sit still. He's always trying to think of whether to serve better, to enhance the customer service experience, making sure that his technicians have all the latest technology. He's one of a handful of shops that have the latest and greatest when it comes to diagnosing your cars.
The other thing you can do at bumpertobumperradio.com is send us emails. Okay, you can email us. We may not necessarily respond to your email, to be honest with you. There's just too many for us to get to. But what we do is we'll peruse the emails and we'll see questions and that kind of thing. And I was looking here right now because we were talking about spark plugs in the first segment. Got someone to email us. They're working on their 4-cylinder 2003 Nissan Xterra. 3 of the spark plugs came right out, and 1 is not coming out. What do I do? What would you do with that one, Matt?
Man, I don't know. I guess I'd be looking at the other 3 that successfully came out and see how worn they were.
They're not bad.
I'd be curious what brand they were, because then that might maybe, is it the original spark plug and maybe it's just got a carbon buildup on it? It's going to matter which spark plug it is. How easy is it to get to? All this stuff is being computed in our brains when we're looking at the cars. People say, well, you just looked at it. No, we processed a lot of information in a split second, and so there's too many variables there. The other thing is, how bad do you need this car? Because if that spark plug comes out, when you take it out and you fight it to get it out,
threads are coming with it.
You may not put a new one in right away. You're going to have the ability to install a helicoil or rethread the spark plug tube, which it happens. It can be done on the car, but you need to be prepared for it. If you're in your last budget and that spark plug could break the bank, hell no, don't change it. Wait and be prepared for what the potential consequences are.
For sure. Good luck with that. And if you need to shop, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com if you feel it might be over your head. We're going to go with Kit in Mesa. She's got a 2008 Mercury Sable. How can we help you, Kit? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Thanks very much for taking my call.
You bet.
I have been trying to learn about cars, as now that's my responsibility. And I've been vacillating between 2 different repair shops. One told me that I need a coolant flush, and I brought the car over to the other one, and they said that if they replace the hoses that they believe need to be replaced, that coolant would automatically have to come out, and that would save me money, because that's the goal as a relatively new widow. That would save me money to have the hoses replaced. Automatically the coolant comes out, and then it would be replaced once the hoses are back on. So that would be one of my bigger questions, but I do have another one, if I can add to that.
Okay.
I'd like to hear more about those spark plugs, because you're saying, it sounded to me like on the previous callers, there must be some kind of a ratio as to miles that they're in. How do you know when you need to replace spark plugs? And on this particular vehicle, how many would there be? What would be an average price, having no idea of what sounds logical?
A couple questions. How many miles are on your Mercury?
140, almost 149.
Okay. So it's more than likely a V6 engine, so there's going to be 6 spark plugs in that thing. And but the hose thing first is that, radiator hoses in the old days didn't used to last as long as they do in the modern car. But those hoses are now, they're 10, 12 years old, and they got 140,000 miles on them. Yeah, if we're servicing the coolant and we're not addressing the bad hoses, then it would be the wrong direction to go. Go ahead and service the hoses, replace the hoses because of their age. At the same time, the coolant is going to be changed out.
Yeah, so there's definitely some labor savings there.
Okay.
And did they say there's a problem with any of the hoses, or it's time because they're 10 or 11
They're
years old?
showing wear.
Okay.
The top 3 things that they gave me was about the radio hoses coolant issue that I said, and then something to do with the condenser for the AC. A little clicking noise happens when it is on, and then the compressor.
Okay. Well, so a couple things. You're going to want to have a good, solid cooling system, for your when the air conditioning starts to work. Sounds like they need to do some diagnosis and find out why the air conditioner's not working right. And then, the tune-ups. We're back to that word tune-up a little bit, or when should my spark plugs be replaced? I think what you should do, Kit, is get out your owner's manual and just go through the maintenance schedule. You're going to see a standard maintenance or normal, and you're going to see severe, and just thumb through that, and it's going to be a good general guideline. Your car's got 149,000 miles on it. It's very likely and very possible that it's out of sequence on some of those things too. So just by, I call it odometer surfing. Hey, it's got 150,000 miles. You need this. Well, pump the brakes a little bit.
Maybe the spark plugs already changed. We don't know.
20,000 miles ago. Yeah. So my suggestion, next time you go back to the shop, and I think they're leading you the right way on the coolant thing, do what you can to find all your service records and put that together. And then ask them. At my shop, we do what we call a comprehensive vehicle inspection. It's just not the things you look at when you do the oil change. It's almost like a pre-purchase inspection. And if you're going to have this car, your situation has changed recently, and you want to make sure you have a good, safe, reliable car before you start putting money into this one. You want to know the greater picture too, the big picture. What else can I be expecting? And I think and it sounds to me that you're at a shop that can help guide you that way. But you want to know everything before you start working on anything.
For sure. Thanks so much for the call, Kit. Hopefully that was helpful to you. We've got Chandra, Daniel, and Ellen. We're going to go with Jared in Tempe with a 2004 Cadillac CTS. How can we help you, Jared? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, I had a code show up. I think it was a P. I don't remember it off the top of my head. I had it ran. It was the bank to catalytic converter has gone bad. I was wondering the timeline on when catalytic converters normally go bad. The car has about 135,000 miles on it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's no code that says bad catalytic converter. That's just hey, we think we got a catalytic converter. For whatever reason, we're not getting the results we want out of how we handle the exhaust. So the computer is turning on the check engine light. More than likely a PO 42430, I believe, is the code that would be. And that's where the diagnostic work has to happen. Do we have good O2 sensors or airflow?
What are O2 sensors?
Oxygen sensors. Okay, thank you.
I know what it is, but people listening may be, what the heck is O2? An oxygen sensor.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Well, I don't get long-winded here,
right.
But there's some sensors. We can't have exhaust leaks. There's some other things that go on to have to diagnose that system. Do we have the right software in the car? Sometimes softwares update, things like that. So it needs to be diagnosed, and just pulling a code or having the codes ran, people like to say, is not say, hey, let's go run out and jump and buy a catalytic converter. They're not cheap. Okay, so we want to make sure you really do need one.
And don't get it confused with a Cadillac converter. A lot of people say, I need a Cadillac converter.
For sure, but it's not uncommon to see a Cadillac converter bad at 130,000 miles. It happens. Usually I see them up in the 180s.
And the other thing is you have to remember, and this goes all the way back to the beginning of the show, talking about tune-ups and keeping the car performing well, keeping the carbon buildup out of it and those minor adjustments and such. Something kills the cat besides curiosity. They say curiosity kills the cat. Well, my thing is something else does too. A catalytic converter in a perfect world will never fail. It's usually the byproduct of a car that hasn't been properly tuned. It's misfiring. That's why when your check engine light comes on and it's flashing, they tell you to pull over. Stop driving because you're just putting raw fuel into the catalytic converter. You're going to ruin it. If you go to the oil change shop and they just put 4 quarts in every car when it holds 3.6, that extra oil is ash that's going to get consumed in the engine. It's going to make the catalytic converter fail prematurely. So anytime you replace a catalytic converter,
gotta know why.
You got to know why, and it's a good idea to do some sort of fuel injection cleaning or carbon cleaning and removal from the engine, so that way you don't just damage that very expensive catalytic converter that you're going to replace.
Thanks for the call. When we come back, we've got Chandra, Ellen, Daniel, and you're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR Car Guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
After a car accident, make your first call the right call to Campus Auto Body Salon. Bumper to Bumper Radio approved, 5-star rated with Yelp, CarWise.com, and A+ rated by the BBB. The best care in collision repair since 1973. Check us out at campusbodysalon.com.
There is nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock here for Kurt's Auto Repair. I brought my nephew and general manager, Jeff Rock, to help spread the word.
Thanks, Pops. Yep, the more things change, the more they stay the same at Kurt's. Family owned and operated, our ASE Master Techs and family ethics have earned us a perfect Better Business Bureau record for over 30 years. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue in Bell or online at mycarhurts.com.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic, if your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
You love golf? Hey, we love golf. Want to stay informed and have a little fun? Just tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 for the Bunker to Bunker Golf Show, the Valley's #1 golf show. I'm Greg Ellis. And I'm Jim Hill. And along with Marty Monahan, we talk to tour players and insiders from around the golf world. So round out the foursome, your weekly tee time, 7 a.m. Saturdays on 98.7 FM, Arizona Sports Station, or catch up with us anytime at bunkergolf.com.
Ouch! Being out of tune is no fun, and maybe even a little painful. Hi, this is Lee Weatherby, owner of Accurate Automotive in Mesa. At Accurate, we are a family-owned and operated one-stop automotive repair shop that specializes in building long-term relationships that are in tune with your needs, not ours. We've been recognized nationally as one of the top shops in the country, but for over 20 years, our priority has stayed focused on providing quality automotive service and repair at a fair price. I invite you to come in and see the difference an in-tune relationship can make for you and your car. With our free courtesy inspection, a $49 value, we feel it is well worth our investment in you because we believe good long-term relationships start early with your first walk through our doors. Accurate Automotive, home of friends serving friends, just off Broadway and Robson in Mesa since 1992. For more information, check us out online at accurateautomotiveaz.com today.
Always something up the sleeve of Carrie. Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I'm Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and we're helping you with your car. And we are going to get to these phones. We've got Chandra in Phoenix. She has a 2005 Toyota Camry. How can we help you, Chandra? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, hi guys. So it's a 2005 Camry, and it has only 90,000 miles on it. Now, considering the age of the car, what needs to be done? It's been running fine. There's no problem with the car. It's just that do I need to, do anything with the car? I've been keeping up with the oil changes and other maintenance, but
Chandra,
particularly there is no issue with the car as of now.
Okay.
But I'm only worried about the age of the car.
I'm not concerned with the age at all. A 2005 Camry is just a baby. Nothing to worry about there. But how long have you owned this car?
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years. And how many miles have you put on it?
I got it when it was like 65,000, so about 25,000.
25,000. So let's just assume that the 60,000 mile service was completed. That would have been one of the major service intervals that occurred just prior to you buying the car. So those services may or may not have been done. Most of that stuff is going to be fluids. I think on your car, the biggest service coming up next is the 105,000 mile service, which will probably be some spark plugs and other, quote, tuning and drivability things.
Tune-up, right?
But you're at 90,000 miles, and that is also a significant mileage interval in many cases. So I would do a couple things. If you have a regular shop that you go to that you've been satisfied with and you're not just going here and going there, you want to go to a real mechanical shop. Not just the place that changes oil. I mean, they have their place sometimes, or not just the place that, does a certain other thing. And have a thorough inspection done on the car. Have them, just check it over. What do I need? What's the overall condition? And you can help by bringing in your maintenance records. So the only real way to know what your car needs is to know what's been done to it and what its current state is right now. And then the shop can come up with a plan for you. If maybe there's nothing, maybe it's right on target and that thing is just cherry and right on time and everything is good. And that would be good news. So just an inspection and some review of some maintenance records, I think your future of your car can be set up pretty easily.
One of the things that's interesting to me is people get around that 90,000, 100,000, 110,000 mile area. That's really the first time that your car is going to ask you for some heavier maintenance dollars. And some people bail right there. They go, the car needs all this work. It's been great up until now. Yeah, it has been great, but now it needs a refresher to go the next 100,000 miles. And so you actually never get the benefit out of driving the money out of a car and utilizing it and keep your cost per mile for owning a vehicle down if you bail too soon. I mean, if you got all the money in the world and just like to drive around new cars, do it. I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, like you said, Matt, 90,000 miles, it's just a spring chicken.
I had a lady call me up with her Prius the other day. She said, I've got this 2010 Prius. It's got 120,000 miles or something, and I need my hoses replaced. And she was at a shop, and they said, yeah, you need upper and lower radiator hoses. And I told her, I've got 135,000 miles on my 2010 Toyota truck, and I'm not even thinking about replacing the hoses.
Those Toyota hoses are nice.
And then the next thing is, the car's got 10 hoses on it. Why are you only replacing 2? Because they said, they rot. You can't see them. They're deteriorating. Well, if 2 of them are deteriorating, I got news for you. There's 10 of them that are deteriorating. So just that and that's kind of where we find this mileage surfing. And people are telling me, well, they're original. Well, what the heck does that got to do with anything?
For sure. Hey, we're going to go with Ellen in Scottsdale. She's got a 2007 Hyundai Santa Fe. How can we help you, Ellen? You are on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hello. I have an issue when I go to start my car. Sometimes you have to crank it a couple of times, off and then turn it back on to get it to start. I mean, it fires and everything, and then some mornings when it's really cold, it starts right up. I have taken it to a shop. Nobody can figure out what it is. It's not throwing any codes.
Well,
Do you have any ideas?
Got some ideas. Yeah. Dave, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm just saying, it's just a comment that it's not throwing any codes, and that's a regular comment that we hear, but codes are not always there. Half the cars we diagnose, we never get a code. We call it a no-code diagnosis. But I would say if it's something the shop can't find, if they can duplicate it, they can find it. That's going to be the key. If it's something they can't make happen because it never happens, it only happens on the 10th Wednesday of the whatever year, they're not going to be able to figure it out. But if they can duplicate it, I'm convinced they can. They just need to make it happen. They need to have the test tools on it and see what's missing.
And Ellen, when does that happen? Does it happen just cold in the morning, or every time you go to start the car, or I mean, if you go to the grocery store or to the mall or something and come out a half hour later, does the car start right up then?
Nope, it's pretty much every time. But the really cold mornings, It starts right up. It doesn't hesitate at all. Then somebody's like, oh, maybe you need to, like prime it, solenoid. And so I turn it on and I let it wait a minute, then I turn it back off, and then I try to start it, and still doesn't start.
Yeah. Well, if it's easily duplicatable, a good shop can fix that. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of going and do some testing. There's a number of different things. I think of, the older cars, Dave, and I don't know the exact setup on that one. If it's sucking raw fuel from a broken fuel pressure regulator, that's going to flood it out, if you will. When it's warm, it's not going to want to start. But when it's cold, it likes all that extra fuel, so maybe it fires right up. So just those little tips and those little things that Ellen, that you may not think are important are very helpful. It could be a temperature sensor reading at a range. Mm-hmm. Maybe when it's 180 degrees and the engine temperature, it falls out and says it's only negative 40. It's overfueling the car, maybe.
Right, for sure. So, no, it's positive that it happens every time. If you're at a shop and it happened every time and they can't figure it out, maybe we would, double check with them if they can figure it out. If not, find somebody else.
And depending on where you are in Scottsdale, if you're in the South Scottsdale area, you might want to call Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair. They can diagnose that. If you're in the middle of Scottsdale, maybe send us an email and we'll try to get you a referral. North Scottsdale, that area, it's worth it to take a drive over to Shadow Mountain Auto Care at 32nd Street and Shea. Good place to go. It's not that far.
Well, it's an interesting conversation. Like, people pick a shop maybe by their house, but the other place, if you got a job, you've worked there for years, and there's a shop right down the street from your work, sometimes that helps be convenient. That way, you're not sitting in the lobby, because that's not fun for anybody, honestly. But, maybe you drop your car off in there in the morning. They give you right into work. I know you do that a lot of times at your shop, Matt, and then just pick them up at the end of the day, and everybody's happy, and it's convenient, and nothing else, So
let us mess with your car on Saturdays on the radio. You don't want to mess with it. You want to have your free time on Saturday. Get that car serviced while you're at work. That's my thoughts.
And not before you're headed out of town like everybody likes to do. We want to do it in the off-travel seasons to get the car fixed up. So when you're ready to go out of town, jump in the car, go. Throw the kids in the back, throw the dogs, surfboards, everything. Head to San Diego.
And Daniel from Mesa, I will grab you after the show. We don't have time to do you justice right now by bringing you on air, but I will pick up the phone and have a chat with you shortly after, so just don't hang up.
We're glad you could join us. If you're looking for a friendly, honest, competent, big name, competent shop, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. If you already got one of those, they may not be a part of Bumper to Bumper Radio. That's okay. Stay there. It's a great shop. Stick with them, if they're doing a good job for you. But if you are at Bumper to Bumper Radio, be sure to like us on Facebook. Remember to never text and drive. And from all the shops at Bumper to Bumper Radio, have a safe weekend.